IMSA fans, we have one of our dear friends, IMSA President John Doonan. Hey, you just not only did the State of the Series, you nailed it in one take, which is impressive. You had our friend Lee Diffie, one of the professors of sports car racing. We're lending him to NASCAR, but we hope to get him back here soon. But packed house, manufacturer reps, everybody who really cares and loves and makes IMSA this huge growing property is here to listen to your State of the Series address. Numbers, that's really the thing that jumped out to me, John. Announced next year's full season grid, 48 full season entries.
Yeah.
Where are you going to put all of them? 55
Yeah,
at
56.
the big Enduros,
Yep.
55, 56. We know at Rolex 24 at Daytona, that number tends to go beyond 60.
Yep.
We got an increase on manufacturer count we'll get to in a moment. Let's just start to the health and vibrance of this series with the full season entries, the endurance entries. It's all going up.
It is. Before I came on stage, I was in the hallway just thinking about this moment and where we are as endurance sports car racing or sports car racing in general. And we've been around it all our lives, especially you and I, and you get a little choked up when you see what's happening. And so happy for those who are participating, teams, drivers, manufacturers, but mostly our fans. I mean, we are showing them the best of the best. And I was in another meeting this morning with one of the chassis constructors who's been around forever, and he was getting emotional and saying, I've never seen something like this in our sport. So really excited about that. You mentioned the entries, and of course we have gotten into a cadence now of opening entries early, which worked again, and I think it gives the series, the teams, the drivers, the partners a little bit longer runway to plan. So pleased to announce them, and we've been announcing them a little bit each week for the last several weeks. But big numbers such that we've had to modify the paddock here at Michelin Raceway Road, Atlanta, to fit in 197 transporters and 165 race cars this weekend. And 2025 is very bright with a huge WeatherTech Sports Car Championship entry list. 11 GTP cars, which is a record in the modern era, 12 LMP2 cars, and 11 manufacturers deciding to bring a GT car for customers, and those grids are bolstered.
So when we left Indianapolis here a couple of weeks ago, Battle on the Bricks, IMSA had 18 official auto manufacturers. You changed the number on us again, dude. We're up to 19 now. Talk about that, who's joined us here unveiling just earlier in the Michelin Pilot Challenge Series.
Yep.
And we can't say who, what, and whatnot might be 20, but little birdies tell me we might not be at 19 for too long.
Yeah, I mean, think about when we were growing up, going to auto shows, and I know I can relate, and we've talked about this, like going to the auto show, and all I cared about, because Dad was racing, was which manufacturers were there and what race car from the manufacturer was there. We're now the new auto show, whether it's up on the Midway in the displays or a photo shoot we did back at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca with GT road car, GT race car. But we added 19 today. Cupra is coming to join us in TCR. And what a great story about that relative to new auto show. If you're going to launch a brand in North America,
they're going to do later in the decade,
which they've said they're going to do, what better way to come and build recognition of your brand emblem, your brand philosophies, and your nameplate than to come and race with us and race in a TCR category with Alfa and Hyundai and Honda and Audi. And so thrilled to have that car. It's a looker, isn't it? It's a really pretty race car. And I'm excited because the TCR category gives us, and adding Cupra gives us a little bit further extension. We're already in a great place with that as a technical partner, the TCR category, but they add so much, and number 19 is here.
Beautiful. Talk about some of the other announcement partners, long-term engagements done, and some of the other items. But I wanted to start first with something that's a little more homespun with IMSA. So we're here filming a IMSA digital video specifically for IMSA's digital video platforms. Did a nice piece talking about Win the Weekend in partnership with Michelin and what kind of impact that has had over the last year and a half, 2 years now. Speak to that, because there's one thing, and again I realize it's a little bit of self-interest here, but if I look at one massive area separate than just the amount of auto manufacturers that are playing here now on the grid size, digital growth is the area I have seen among all major motor racing series in North America. In the last couple of years, IMSA has skyrocketed there. Win the Weekend, a big part of that. Tell folks about that side, because it brings youth, it brings future and a long runway.
Yeah, there's no doubt. You know, I have an IT group at home, and that's my kids teaching me how to use you know, the latest technology. But frankly, our fans are loyal, but they're sophisticated, and they're taking in content in a variety of ways. And you know, the videos that you and the CoForce team have produced for us, we see an uptick in followers because of those, and that
more than 100,000 new subscribers on YouTube in the last year.
Correct.
Added roughly 25% new in the last 12 months. And again, not that folks with a little salt in their beard can't become subscribers, but that tells us by and large a younger demographic is buying it.
Yeah, no doubt. The younger folks on the streaming, on the social. You know, when I came 5 years ago, I think we were barely at 1 million. Now we're now over 2 million followers across all channels. But you mentioned YouTube. We crossed 100 million views, now at 106 million views of all the content, and being able to produce the races and put them on YouTube live outside the U.S. Has been...
O'Donnell, David Pettit, that whole team there has been really pushing you as well on the, hey, this YouTube engagement's big. Why don't we try and put some actual live content? So please tune in to NBC, USA, Peacock, do that. But as well, you want to watch your Mustang Challenge race or Porsche, or maybe even elements of a WeatherTech Championship race. Those things you can find quite often live on YouTube.
Yeah, and people around the world watching the content, no matter where. We have a few countries that, based on agreements, you can't watch live, but then once it's up on the IMSA YouTube channel, you can go back and watch. And I think we're seeing a lot of those repeat visitors that maybe didn't watch it live, but they're picking it up during the week following the race and watching in total.
STEM, new, amazing initiative. And with a new partner coming in, very important, Gainbridge, right? We've seen a lot of activation from them. Open wheel, NASCAR as well. Tell folks about that. I know you're really proud of you. This guy was one of the earliest adopters back in his days of running the Mazda Motorsports program. Road show across the country with Mazda race cars, drivers, talking about aerodynamics and mechanical stuff. High schools, kids putting on presentations. Look at this guy. He's making
it's near and dear to my heart. You're right. And back then it was Kyle Kimball, Jim Bowie, and myself in a rental car, and then we had the race car following us. But for me, back to the younger audience engagement, there's a group of kids here from East Hall High School just down the road. We'll have a group of students from the University of Georgia here, the Bulldogs, this weekend. And for me, that's our future. And what we're doing here is so incredibly special. It's such a perfect example and application of what they're doing in the classroom. Algebra, calculus, trigonometry, all classes you failed, biology, chemistry, physics, but it's a real world application. And I know with 19 auto manufacturers here, they're looking for the best and brightest. And if we can give students a taste of IMSA, we can bring them to the racetrack, we can help them see and reach the goals that they aspire to in a career. Because and so many of our friends in this industry have been able to live a dream participating in this industry. But what better way to do it with a real world application of your classroom work and find that career path, whether it's being an engineer, a mechanic, a PR professional, a marketing professional. As well as I do, you still need to understand the details of technology and all the elements that make our sport what it is.
I just want to also clarify that I got an A+ in lunch, as my luxurious body demonstrates here. Rolex, fantastic partner. That is the first timepiece brand, timekeeping brand that comes to mind when we think of sports car racing, endurance sports car racing. We're not saying how many years the extension is, but you need a lot of fingers to count on that. That's a really important thing for you and the France family as well.
Yeah, and you followed the Rolex 24 from those early days. I remember watching the first one in 1979, but for me, and I shared this with our new partners at Rolex, when Rolex came on board at the Rolex 24, the race meant more for some reason. And of course, drivers all over the world, the best in the world, want to wear a Rolex Daytona at the end of 24 hours. And to bring them on as our official timepiece, after 4 generations of the France family have been partnered with them in one way or another, it's a really incredible day. And I think from Luca Bersconi and Munya Machbel and Kyle Youngins, they have become not just partners, but really close friends. And they see the convergence of sports car racing globally. They've been involved at Le Mans, they've been involved at the Rolex 24, they've been involved at Sebring, but now to be the official timepiece of the WeatherTech Sports Car Championship and IMSA in general is a capper, a brand that stands for premium and precision and quality, and that's of course what we want to bring forth every race weekend.
One of the first videos you and I ever did, this is a long time ago, January, freezing January in Detroit Auto Show, January 2008, American Le Mans Series, right, part precursor of where we are with IMSA today, had a great announcement there, the Green Racing Challenge, and that included members from the Environmental Protection Agency, a lot of governmental agencies looking at how can we go racing, but how can we also be mindful from a environmental impact standpoint. That relationship is ongoing. EPA, yet again, another part of the announcements today.
Yes, so we teased it today, but tomorrow we'll announce a long-term extension with our partners at the United States Environmental Protection Agency, and of course that coupled with the Department of Energy and the Society of Automotive Engineers really brings I would say a validation stamp to what we're doing here. And of course, on Saturday in the 27th running of Motul Petit Le Mans, it's about performance and it's about going fast. But what we have with the EPA and the DOE and the SAE is doing all those things and being very responsible with our environment. From a renewable fuel to hybrid, which gives you a longer fuel stint, to using less Michelin tires, to the fact that our Konica Minolta Business Center is solar powered. They have validated that. They have told us what fuels will be relevant at the pump for our fans and our consumers. And so that partnership being extended takes us from being the most sustainable racing category in North America, if not the world, with GTP, further gives us an opportunity now to explore what's next in terms of fuel, in terms of propulsion, and things like that with our auto manufacturer partners. So, man, as you know, I couldn't be smiling wider right now. It's a terrific state of the sport. IMSA's strong, but I feel like every day we're getting stronger.